Hello guys, welcome back to more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels of the Roses. I'm Jay from the GameBustersUK and this is for the PS2. Now, this isn't live actually. The reason being is that the next opponent we're going to be fighting is the Darkness Ruler, and he gave me such a pain. I have changed my deck around a bit, mainly main for warriors now and fusions, but yes, I'm resorting to passwords. Why? Because it took me 5 times, nearly 6 times, to do a live recording commentary of fighting the Darkness Ruler, because he can be quite tough actually. Normally I don't do too-ish bad sort of thing. Put it this way, you can sometimes make him look like, you know, really easy. You know, he can make a mistake and, you know, you can finish him off there and then. Here, yeah, I get Dark Hole. And, you know, if you're unlucky like me, he can screw you over. And he screwed me over 5 times in a row. To the point where Audacity screwed up on me. Well, to be honest, I still think Audacity is screwing up on me. But, you know, it seems to be sort of coming through. It's doing something very weird all of a sudden. It wasn't doing it, and now it is. So, I don't know. It's weird. It's going funny. I don't know, it's coming up with redness, but whatever. Yeah, so I got Dark Hole, and unfortunately, you know, I needed a bit of support, so I did actually use this. Although, I will say that I believe on this run, I don't even think I actually used, like, even needed to use the cards that the passwords I'm going to be putting in here. So I've got Gravity Bind, which is a decent trap. Very decent, probably the best. Survival Trap that internally spellbounds, activated in the card, and reduces the strength by 1500 points. Yeah, so that's really good. Mainly, some of the ones that are pass-coded are ones that you can only normally get through rarity stuff. So, or like until much later. And the final one, yes, is the final one I'll be getting is none other than Sword Stalker, which again I said you can get it much later. But I needed the support. To be fair, like I say, I didn't even need to use them this time round, which is just fantastic. I think I managed to get Dark Hole. I didn't actually need to use it, but I kept it on standby. But in the end, I'm pretty certain I didn't even need to use any of the cards that I'm putting the password input in. But this is the only time I'm doing it. I thought to myself, if I need to get this playthrough, if I needed, you know, if I'm going to be able to do this playthrough smoothly, I'm going to have to need some help here. So, you know, sorry, I am putting just these 3 cards. So, unfortunately, I'm sorry. It won't happen again. Put it this way, I won't be doing any of this in Forbidden Memories. No. So there you go, I got Sword Stalker. And in case you don't know, Sword Stalker increases its attack and defense power by 100 points, depending on how many monsters you have in your own graveyard. So if you have like over 30, then yeah, he's gonna get a lot of points. A lot. Of course, that can backfire if you don't have like very much. You don't have very much, you know, life points. Not life points, sorry. Monsters in your own graveyard. But yeah, Darkness Ruler, or Panic, as you may know him, actually gave me a lot of trouble. So I'm actually doing a post commentary, I'm afraid. But we managed to do it this time. Thank God, for like the 6th time. So we fought Necromancer last time, or Bones. We sorted him out with his zombie Halloween kind of deck going on there. Well, it's not Halloween, but yeah, here's the Darkness Ruler. You dare to challenge the dark deck of the Darkness Ruler? Roast those do not. You don't stand a chance. Is that so? Well, you're going to get owned. Well, not really. Yeah, he's Fiend orientated. That's the kind of deck he's got, if you didn't know. So you may have guessed, yup, his field is mainly made up of the Dark Field. Got a little bit of forest, which is kind of handy, I suppose, if you don't have any like field thing like Sogan in my case. You can sort of hide your deck leader, I suppose, in the forest area. And the only leader ability he's got is increase type for the same type of frenzy, increase attack and defense power. So, you know, if he's mainly his fiends will try and keep within his area, within this tech leader area, so that not only do they get the boost from same type frenzy, his his deck leader, they'll also get the boost, of course, from the dark field. So it's like basically it's times 1000 really, which makes him quite formidable. That, and he's got equips out of his backside, and not only that, he's probably the first one who has quite a number of traps. Yeah. So if you need some traps, try having a go at beating this guy and getting some traps. But he can be a real pain, because you try and go after him and he'll have loads of traps, and then he'll basically equip something very powerful and then bam. And this is him using Time Seal on my Tactical Warrior. Thank you very much for that. What Time Seal does is it actually permanently spellbounds the strongest monster on the field, and because obviously he doesn't have any monsters at the moment, so they're obviously traps, our poor old Tactical Warrior, not being that strong anyway, has to go. It's the strongest monster, unfortunately. Good effect though. Very good effect. And as you may have noticed, I've got Empress Judge as my deck leader now, because I want a Tactical Warrior to come out and shine a bit, get his effect out there. And my deck's mainly made up of fusion monsters really now, so it's kind of low. It went up a little bit because of the passcodes I got, because their deck costs are quite big. But no, I do manage to do it, so you don't have to worry though. The next part against old Keith should be live, but this one I'm really surprised. This one doesn't normally give this much trouble. But it's took me 5 times today, and I think the day before it took me 3 times. So in all, it's 8 times I've tried to defeat this guy. But I finally managed to do it. So just checking to see what he had fusion there, because he will try and get Summon Skull. He will, and I think he might do this time. Summon Skull is probably possibly his strongest card, I'd say, other than King of Yamimikai, which is his deck leader. But he does have it in card. He also does have the Zera ritual, but he hardly ever summons Zera the Mant ever. So I wouldn't worry about that too much, unless you're like really like dawdling, or the duel's going on way too long. You're not managing to take out any of his monsters, then yeah, there's a good chance he could, but it hasn't happened to me once, so I know he has it, but wow, 3 judgment hands, but no actual warriors to fuse. Well, I can actually fuse 2 judgment hands together to get Judgment, but I feel like it's kind of a waste, considering I want to save the judgment hands for other warriors that I'm probably not going to use other than to fuse anyway, so I might as well. A Man-Eater Bug is, again, one of those lifesaver ones, I think. One of those lifesaver cards that you think, oh yeah, I'll just get that to destroy a strong monster. I'm just going to fuse Blackland Fire Dragon here with Amazon Disease to get Kaiushin. That's a good card, because in a situation like this, you can actually use Kaiushin's effect to actually turn the field into like a little bit of aqua field. So it actually gets a bonus in its own little area. It's only 4 squares, but if used wisely, it can take one or two monsters out, and it can help you. Considering someone, this guy like this basically got darkness everywhere, so you kind of need like a field changer to sort of help you out a bit. But yeah, if you want to get some traps, I recommend this guy, even though it's quite difficult to begin with, though. So if you can fight him and you can defeat him and get some traps, so obviously you're gonna have to trigger some traps unless he actually happens to go over them, There's also a really good one, the Gorgon's Eye, which permanently spellbounds any of your opponent's monsters that try to go into defense mode, moves them back into attack, and yeah, that's pretty much what happens. Very good. It's one of those cards where if you're dominating your opponent and he's trying to defend, and you've got that card, he's screwed. And here's an example of what Kaiushin can do. Yeah. Goodbye treasure chest. Man-eating treasure chest. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's a handy fusion right there. Normally, well, on Forbidden Memories you can do a lot more easier fusions, but on this one you have to be a bit more specific. Like for example, I believe if you do like a high dragon and a warrior, not a warrior, and an aqua monster, you can actually get Koshin. But in this game, you have to actually, I believe, fuse with actual fishes, not aqua monsters. So, which is nice, I suppose, because it doesn't make it, we say, as easy to make fusions. But Forbidden Memories was a hard game in itself. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I just kind of thinking what to do here. I was gonna put Sogan down, but I don't do anything yet. I'm just waiting to see what he do. Try and corner him because he will flee. But unlike some opponents, he doesn't always write over his cards. I mean, you saw him do it there, but when you corner him, sometimes you think, oh, you know, they normally tend to move out of the way by moving their card, but instead they'd rather risk the life of their weak monster by moving it out of the way, or he will, so that he can move out of the way. Or if not, he'll just literally stay still, and you know, he'll be like, okay, he'll never surrender. Put it that way, he'll never surrender, because some opponents surrender if you corner him. He won't surrender. He just won't. So, well, unless you happen to possibly, you know, completely surround him. But I'm pretty certain I did do this before, and that's Paralyzing Potion. I'll talk about that in a sec. I believe he did do it before, and I'm pretty certain he didn't surrender. He would just stand there, and he'd rather let you know, just defeat him normally. But yeah, Paralyzing Potion again is another irritating spell card that equips onto any monster you choose. It could be your own, I don't know why it'd be your own, or your opponent's, which is obviously the main thing, and it permanently spellbounds the card. I believe there's only one card that can actually dispel it, and I think it's called Dispel. I actually do, I think, which is really low deck cost. I think it's like only 1 deck cost, or maybe 5. I might be getting mixed up with something else, but we don't have it yet, unfortunately. It's a really good card for that sort of. But other than that, you know, if you're fighting somebody who doesn't spellbound much or anything, then it's pretty useless. But against this guy, something like Dispel is, you know, pretty perfect, really. It's the kind of thing you do need for this pain in the backside. Panic, Fiend, Kraken. Oh no, wait, that's an Aqua monster. But yeah, if you got a field spell card, you know, just shove it in his face, basically. Take over his dark field and say, have it. Got Dark Hole there. I didn't even need to use it, so that's good. But it was there. It's my backup. It's my insurance. If things go wrong, just start afresh. Had to get it. Good card. I think you can eventually get it legally, you know, without using a passcode. Much later on, I believe. So, and you can actually get White Hole, which negates Dark Hole. Yeah, I believe I've only had one person do that on me before. So, but yep, he's basically Fiend, power up, traps, magic cards to spellbound your monsters. That's pretty much his game. So. I mean, he can be overpowered, but at this early point in time, it's very difficult to do. So I'm just kind of being careful here, really. It's anything you can do after I lost about 8 times. Yeah, terrible. I'll just fuse. That way Griggle can get out of spellbound, but I just wanted to move Griggle out of the way because I wanted to test if it was a trap. I was right. Trap wasted. There you have it. Ah, I like doing that. It's like trying to outsmart the opponent, really. Just a little tester. I say sometimes he does make mistakes. Sometimes he will walk right up to you, right up to your monster, and then you're like, oh hello, I've won the duel. Other times he won't. And there's Acid Trap Hole, and there's Invisible Wire as well. Yeah, so Acid Trap Hole destroys monsters with an attack of 4,000 or less. Visible Wire 3,000 or less. So two very good cards. If you can pick them up, then I would pick them up. So unfortunately, I don't know if they're traps we can even get at this point. I think you might have to win them. I'm not too sure. Like win them, like if you get 3 in a row. I'm not. There are some traps you can get, but I don't know. Maybe Invisible Wire, but I'm not so sure about Acid Trap. Just because it's a pretty good card. Oh, look at that pure ownage. You shouldn't have tried to come after my deck leader there. That was a very dumb move. Well, what do you think you're doing? Getting a bit too close for comfort. But to be fair, he's almost kind of, you know, put me in a good situation. So this is where I thought, right, I'm going to fuse and test off Flame Swordsman here to see if there's any traps. Guess what? He slipped up. There's no traps. So, thank you very much. I've just won it all. Goodbye. Yeah, we got there. We got there. Finally, after several attempts, we finally got there. That Audacity thing is really bothering me, I tell you. Ah! There's always something going wrong with my recording. Dazzle screwing up, Audacity screwing up, something else screwing up. Alrighty, I think I try and get Infinity Dismissal, and I do get it, but I accidentally get Fiend Castle, which in the original series is actually a Tomb World, I believe. But it's not in this one. Tomb World is in this game, by the way. Yeah, there you go. So I actually nearly got to Fiend Castle without even trying to get it. But yeah, we got Infinity Dismissal, which I don't know if you saw. Spellbounds your monster for 3 turns, so it's decent. It's a trap. We really need traps. No, how can it be? How could I lose? Whoa, look at that guy's face. Damn it. It looked like someone's grabbed his soul out of his body or something. I don't know. Jeez Louise. It's possessed. And there, looks like it just leads to Bandit Keith. So, as you may have guessed, we will be fighting none other than Keith, Bandit Keith, the American champion, with a British flag on his head. We're going to leave Pegasus, because Pegasus is a pain. It's quite difficult. Of course, he does his tunes with his Toon Summon Skull, Toon Not Magician Girl, Toon Blue Eyes White Dragon, Relinquished, and all those monsters. He loves them. So, Yugi boy, but we're not Yugi boy. It's GameBustersUK boy. Doesn't sound as good, does it? So here I just sort of get rid of something to put Infinity Dismissal. Other than that, that's pretty much it. So yeah. Other than that, guys, next time we'll be fighting none other than Bandit Keith. So yeah, I'm Jay from the GameBustersUK. This has been Duel to the Races Part 5. See you guys next time. Back to live, I promise next time. Thank you for watching.